Hello everyone. This video on the chapter Living and Non-Living for class 6 is brought to you by Science Excel. Please like and subscribe my channel for more videos, question banks, revision notes, tips before the examination and many more things by just hitting this bell icon. Different regions in the world have various types of living creatures called organisms. Even our homes are not devoid of these tiny organisms. What is an environment? Everything that we see surrounding us, living, non-living, physical, chemical, etc. is called as environment. It has two components. Biotic components are those which are living components of the ecosystem, example flora and fauna. And the abiotic components are the non-living components of the ecosystem like soil, water, air, etc. Now, organisms and the surroundings, where they live. The region or place where an organism lives is termed as its habitat. Habitat provides an organism everything it needs to survive, like food, shelter, proper weather conditions. There are different types of habitat. Some are forest, desert, and aquatic. Living things versus non-living things. We have two categories of things around us, living and non-living things. Under living things, we have plants and animals, and under non-living things, we have soil, water, air, light. There are many characteristics of living organisms like structural organization, growth, movement, nutrition, excretion, reproduction, response to stimuli, respiration. Now we will study about each of these characteristics in more detail. First characteristic is structural organization. Living beings are made up of cells. Cells are the structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Let us see an image of cell. Based on number of cells, we have two categories. Unicellular organisms contain single cell, example amoeba, paramecium. Multicellular organisms contain more than one cell, example plants, animals. Growth, the next characteristic. Growth is the increase in size and volume of the body. When cells present in an organism divide, their number increases, which causes increase in size. This picture is showing you how growth takes place in human beings, starting from the stage of infancy, then childhood, followed by adulthood, and ultimately old age. Now there's a difference between growth and development. Growth refers to the increase in size and number, whereas development refers to an improvement in circumstances. Growth has a quantitative measure, development has a qualitative measure. Growth is for limited period, whereas development happens throughout life. Growth is due to cell division, development is not due to cell division. The next characteristic is movement. Movement can be external or internal. Movement may or may not involve a change in position. Like plants don't show locomotion. Now let us see what is locomotion. Locomotion is the movement from one place to another in search of food, shelter, escape from enemies. This picture is of a touch-me-not plant which shows movement when it is touched. There are many movements that we see in our daily life, like walking, flying, and running. Nutrition. All living organisms, that is animals and plants, need food for growth and development. Living things consume food to obtain energy to carry out different functions in their body. Animals depend on other organisms for food and hence they are called heterotrophs, whereas plants prepare their own food with the help of sunlight, water and carbon dioxide by the process of photosynthesis. Hence they are called autotrophs. Since they produce food for others, they are also called producers. This image is showing you the process of photosynthesis that is taking place in plants. Respiration. What is respiration? Respiration is the chemical process in which food taken by an organism combines with oxygen to release energy. This energy is used by the organism to carry out its various life processes. Carbon dioxide and water are the other products of the process of respiration. This is the equation of respiration. Food and oxygen is giving us carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now, why is respiration essential for all living organisms? The energy produced during respiration is utilized by all living organisms for carrying out various life processes. Breathing. What is breathing? It is a physical process by which the air containing oxygen is drawn into the lungs and air containing carbon dioxide is forced out from lungs. Breathing involves two steps: inhalation or inspiration and exhalation or expiration. During inhalation, the rib cage expands as the rib muscles contract, diaphragm contracts, so it moves down and air is inhaled, whereas the reverse happens in exhalation. The rib cage gets smaller as rib muscles relax, diaphragm relaxes, so it moves up and the air is exhaled. A very important note here that what is a diaphragm? A diaphragm is a muscular sheet which separates the thorax from the abdomen. This is a table showing the difference between respiration and breathing. Respiration takes place in every living cell. Breathing takes place in lungs. Respiration is a process that involves the release of energy from food, whereas breathing is a process of gaseous exchange, taking air in and out of the body. Respiration uses the oxygen absorbed during breathing, and breathing removes the carbon dioxide produced during respiration. Mitochondria is the part of the cell, it is an organelle where energy is produced and is thus known as the powerhouse of the cell. This picture is showing how breathing and respiration is taking place in us. We breathe or inhale oxygen through our nose, which is known as inhalation or inspiration, and it reaches our lungs. From there, blood cells deliver it to the cell. The oxygen combine with the food and provide energy, and carbon dioxide, which we know as respiration. And at the same time, carbon dioxide, which is produced, is picked up by the blood and brought to the lungs, which we exhale out. The pathway of air. How does the air entering our nostrils finally reach the lungs? We're going to see that first. Air normally enters through the nostrils. It passes to the larynx, which is also known as the voice box, and then to the trachea, which is known as the windpipe. And from there, through the bronchus to the lungs. A pair of lungs hang free in the thoracic cavity. An air tube called the bronchus connects each lung to a trachea. Lungs contain millions of alveoli, which are the sites of gas exchange between air and blood. The alveoli appear as a bunch of grapes. The thoracic cavity is bounded on the bottom by a thick layer of muscle called the diaphragm. This flowchart is showing how the air reaches from the nose to the lung capillaries, passing through different regions. From the nose, it moves to the nasal cavities and the sinuses. Then it moves to the pharynx, then larynx, followed by trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, and finally to the lung capillaries, where the gases are exchanged. Different living organisms have different respiratory organs. Like fishes have gills, caterpillar have spiracles, chicken have lungs, spiders they have book lungs. Gaseous exchange in plants. Gaseous exchange generally takes place in plants through stomata, which are tiny pores present mostly on the lower epidermis of the leaf or lower side of the leaf. Photosynthesis occurs only during daytime since sunlight is an integral component of the same. Nevertheless, respiration on the other hand is a continuous process day or night. Photosynthesis requires all plants to have a supply of carbon dioxide and means the production of oxygen. So this gaseous exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide that takes place during photosynthesis is again due to the stomata. Lenticels. These are the pores on the stem of a woody plant that allows gas exchange between the atmosphere and the internal tissues. Respond to stimuli. What is a stimulus? Anything that triggers a reaction in an organism is called stimulus. Then what is a response? The reaction of the organism to that particular stimulus is called response. Now let me ask you a simple question. What do you do when you accidentally touch a hot pan? You immediately withdraw or remove your hand from it. This is exactly shown in the picture. This is a phenomena that we do in our daily life, which is respond to stimuli. Response to stimuli in plants. Phototropism, the growth of plant stem towards light. Here, light is acting as the stimulus and bending of plant towards light is the response. So light acts as a stimulus and bending is the response. So plant is showing some response to stimuli. Geotropism is the growth of roots towards gravity away from source of light. Here, gravity is the stimulus and growing of roots towards gravity is the response, which is known as positive geotropism, and movement of the stem or the shoot system away from the gravity is known as the negative geotropism. Excretion. What is excretion? It is a process by which metabolic waste is eliminated from the body of an organism. Now, why do we need to excrete? The process of excretion helps to remove the waste products from the body. If these are allowed to accumulate, they cause poisoning in the body that slows down the other important processes in the body. What are the different excretory products in the human body? Urea, which is excreted through urine, carbon dioxide, which is given out during exhalation, sweat, which is a combination of salt and water. This is the diagram of the human excretory system showing a pair of kidney a pair of ureter, urinary bladder where the urine is temporarily stored, and urethra which transports the urine out of the body. Excretion in plants. Plants perform photosynthesis, which uses carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and chlorophyll to synthesize food. During photosynthesis, oxygen is given out as a byproduct. This oxygen acts as an excretory product and is given out by a process called diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration. Certain plants perform a process known as photorespiration, where oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out as a waste product. All plants perform transpiration, which is the process by which plants transport water from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant for elimination in the form of water droplets or water vapor. This process occurs because the plants take in more water than they need for their biochemical processes, and the excess water is eliminated by transpiration. Students, please note here that when you're defining transpiration, you must write that it is eliminated from the aerial parts of the plant and water is lost in the form of vapor. These 2 points are very important for you to score a complete full marks in the definition. Another commonly produces waste material of plant is tannin. Tannin is a product of plant that are stored in the trunks of trees. They are present in the bark of trees. Another waste product that plants produce is latex. It is actually very useful to man in the manufacture of many rubber products. Gums and resins are used by humans for making adhesives and varnishes. This is how latex is collected. This is resin and this is gum. So all the excretory products of plants are useful to mankind. Reproduction. Reproduction means to reproduce. It is a biological process by which an organism reproduces an offspring who is biologically similar to the organism. Reproduction enables and ensures the continuity of species generation after generation. Reproduction is important for the survival of all living organisms. These are the pictures of animals with their little ones. Reproduction in plants. Most plants produce seeds inside their fruits. These seeds, when sown in soil, produce new plant of the same species. So most of the fruits that we consume have seeds inside them, like pomegranate, we have watermelon seeds, we have mango seed, we have papaya seed, we have apple seed. This is the life cycle that the seed, after being sown, develops into a young plant, which eventually develops into a mature plant. From there we get flower, and from the flower again we get fruit, and from the fruit back to seed, and this life cycle of the plant continues. I hope you liked the video. Please leave a comment below and do come back again for more videos. Thank you.